Okay, so here we are, we're at the pods. We just finished our week here of our training in alpha and gamma. Got Holly with me.
Hi.
And she's going to go over my results. And I'm going to share them, what all these lines and graphs, and I know everyone watching has no idea what this is.
Yeah.
But she gets to teach me. So
Yeah.
let's go over my progress through the week. So I did how many days? So 5 days.
5 days.
Twice a day.
Twice a day, except for the first day you did 3 sessions, but
That's right.
those were only 30 minutes
That's
apiece.
right. And then now we did an hour and a half each session the rest of the week. Ish.
Ish, yeah.
Close. Okay. All right. And the purpose of all this was to do what?
Well, you tell me.
So for the way I get it, is we're learning to keep our bodies and our minds in alpha, which is getting out of our beta thinking, stressing, negative thought brain, and then getting to more of an alpha state, which is, as I would interpret, more of like a feeling of love, feeling feelings, basically.
Yeah.
And it's a higher level of consciousness. But the goal is to have the brainwaves be in sync and not overlapping and going nuts. Is that the idea? So fill in where I left off.
Yeah, we'll review that as well.
Okay.
So, alpha, why would we be training 10 hertz alpha? Right, I think that you described the feeling so well, and I think that we're all in this beta mindset, right? This beta mindset, and we're constantly bombarded by everything.
Yep.
And we're needing to be efficient and be problem solvers, right?
Yeah,
You know?
that's my life. And according to my brain map with Dr. Drew, I was stuck of just thinking beta, high beta all the time.
And it's exhausting.
It's exhausting.
Right? And that's the
point. It was fraying, he said.
Yeah. And so when you train alpha, you are automatically making your brain more efficient.
Gotcha.
Because you're not...
And that's alpha. Blue.
Yes.
Am I even getting... Oh, yeah,
so
blue.
Here, we'll go over the waves. How's that?
So you're making your brain more efficient in alpha.
You're making your brain more efficient. You're not trying to problem solve every little thing. You can just be in that flow state, right? You're not here nor there. You're in the present moment.
Perfect.
You're not reaching outside of yourself. You're right here, and you're in that feeling.
Perfect.
Right.
Yep, that's what I want.
Yep. Don't we all?
Yep.
So, red line here is our delta wave. That's our slowest waveform in our waking state. So these are broken down into categorical waveforms.
Okay.
So, beta 1 to 4 hertz, delta 1 to 4 hertz. Delta is our red line. This is our slowest wave, and usually in these pod sessions, this is the power spectrum. So delta is going to have the most power, usually to start.
Perfect.
So then we have our blue line, which is alpha, and alpha is what we're training. So we're looking a lot at the blue line during alpha training. And then we have our purple line, which is theta.
Okay.
Theta is a slower wave, just like delta, but theta is a little bit more waking. It's imaginative. Children
have it for dream and imagination. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. It's more nebulous
and
than
mine
alpha.
grew a lot. It was cool to see.
Yeah, it was. All of your power really changed throughout the week. And then we have our 2 beta forms down here. We have beta in yellow.
Okay.
And then we have high beta in white. And here we call it gamma, but really unless it expresses itself in a really specific way, I don't consider it gamma.
Got it.
Because it works differently than the other brainwaves.
Got it. Okay.
Okay. So, your start. This was your very first session.
Okay.
Your very first 30-minute session. And there's a lot of movement in this. And how we can tell it's movement is by these vertical lines in this spectrogram here. Mm-hmm. And then we see all of these lines just spiking. The brain doesn't do this. This is muscle movement, and it's so normal to see because we're human, right? We're gonna move around, especially in this first session. I told you to settle in.
I couldn't even settle in. That's how much of a problem I was having.
Well, a lot of people do because we're not used to being trapped in a pod all just being with ourselves, right?
In the pod, just so everyone sees, you have these eggs, and inside the egg is a chair that you're in, and it's dark. I don't know if you can see actually.
You can open up the pod.
Okay, I'll open up a little bit more. Yeah, you have these chairs, and they can go back and forth. And then you have a headset that you're wearing. We didn't use the TV or anything. The headset, and it's just dark. And the headset plays basically like a low static when you're in a pink noise. Yeah, pink noise when you're in alpha. And it gets longer and more full when you get more and more alpha. And then you hear gongs, like a dong every time you're... What happened? What was the gong expressing from my brain?
So it's synchrony. So it's when you have points on your head with electrodes, and when it's those points in your head are making the same 10 hertz wave. So they're talking in the same language. Got it.
So that's what the gong was. So the more noise you hear and the more gongs, the better. You can probably see it in my head. You see all this goo everywhere? That's like Lily having electrodes on my head. 4 of them, right?
Yeah.
4 on my head each time we did it. So, okay, so this is what we did. And so getting feedback every time we go to the pod. This is the very first one.
Yep.
And then let's go through them.
Okay, so this first session, we see that, okay, you're capable of getting into some alpha. We see a little bit of a band forming here at the very beginning when we have your attention, right? But you start getting shifty, kind of drifting off, and like, oh, he might be organized, let's see. So then let's get into your gratitude. So then you did gratitude, yeah, and your delta here came down a bit, which means that you were more attentive. That's great. And then that band started forming down here at 10 hertz. But as we're looking at this, we see at the very beginning, you're shifting around in your minds on something because you have a lot of beta going on in this spectrogram. And this spectrogram is just showing how much in every frequency your brain has.
Right.
So we still see that distributed through about like 18 to 20 hertz. But your alpha starts popping up.
Yep.
And what we discussed when we saw this and your first reset was that we wanted you to be able to retain this alpha here. So when it rises up, it stays up, right? Because we see it just kind of doing this cute little poppy thing. And we are like, you're going to sustain it at the end of the week, right?
And a reset, just so everyone knows, listening, a reset is the most powerful thing I think we did here, which was... There's a lot of things we did, but a reset is where you're thinking through someone to forgive or something to forgive to yourself or someone to hurt you or an issue or a trauma, and you're taking that, you're sitting in the pain, but then you're finding the gift and forgiving to love, like using it to love that person, and it's an incredible process.
Yeah.
We can go more into it on the blog, but it's an amazing. We did that 100 times this week.
It's so powerful.
And we went back to it. We did like re-scripting, we envisioned things and manifestation things and circle of selves and talking to ourselves as a child, and it helped me deal with the trauma in my life more than anything I've ever done in my life. So I'm excited to see. So this was, when was this? Sorry, Tuesday maybe? No, Monday.
This is Monday.
Okay.
Okay, so then we go into Tuesday, and Tuesday in the morning, you're like all in your head. You're like, what's going to happen? How am I going to problem solve this, right? Right? You're like, your tables are turned, and you're like, how am I going to do this?
She's going through my week for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then midway through, you hit it. You kind of start dropping into that feeling there. We see, we just see you start getting your groove on. Well, that's it up close. And you close out more in the feeling. You aren't quite sustaining that alpha yet.
And the goal, like you said, is to keep everything separate. You don't want a bunch of overlap, like.
Yeah. So we call this being organized.
Yeah.
So it's when everyone, I say, is like in their swim lanes. So everyone is all of the brain waves are separated in this graph.
Instead of this.
Instead of relying on one another in a certain way.
Okay.
So at a certain point at your AM session that morning, something just dropped out. You stopped thinking so much here. And I don't.
Solid blue is the goal.
Yeah. So we're looking for that throughout the week, and we know you can do it.
So show the week. So that was, now we're on Wednesday.
So yes. So this is this is Tuesday afternoon.
Okay, there's Wednesday.
And then this is Wednesday. Yeah. And there was something here. You had this getting into the feeling here, kind of like about
Finding
an
things
hour
we're spacing
in.
out.
Yeah, and we can tell that you're having a bit more power here. And then at the end, you kind of have a little pop. And it was a big pop though. It was so great. I was like, whoa, what happened for him? Should I leave him in 10 more minutes, right? You remember that, right?
Yep, I remember.
And you were really dropped into the feeling here. Like
it was actually
your
a feeling
Bailey's
of
gone.
anger and like trying to get it out.
Yeah,
I
but
remember.
that was so real for
Yep.
you.
Yep.
You were so purely in that feeling. And then this was...
Wednesday afternoon. Probably.
Yeah, Wednesday afternoon, and then that's when we figured out you're an afternoon person.
Yeah.
And I
30
wanted,
minutes, right?
yeah, 30 minutes in, and then everything separates out so beautifully. And this was your big turning point. Your brain figured it out. You, after this, you became so much more
Look at me.
organized. And your alpha's like, I did it, I figured it out. It's like, I'm gonna do this all the time. Wow, this is so much easier.
And this band, what's this band down
This
here?
is your alpha band, and it's so much brighter already. And then you
So you can go back in the video and watch 3 minutes
And then you did
ago.
that thing at the end too, where you,
Yeah.
where you're just dropped into that feeling.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Cool.
Let's see. You want to see today's?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, we started working on gamma.
This was yesterday. Yesterday PM alpha. You're still retaining your form.
Yeah.
Still
see
doing
how there's
it?
no color down there?
Yeah.
It's all feeling, not
You figured it out.
static. Yep.
Yeah. It's all feeling.
All blue.
And then this was your first gamma session. And so now we are focusing on that gamma wave and the way that these ride. And you really see it in your EEG, your raw EEG, but in the graph here, we've never seen your beta and your gamma wave and your line chart ever do this. And it was like, boom, right off the bat, you just go for a wild ride.
And gamma's unconditional love. So it's like, for me, it was like one of the first times in my life I felt like deep, true, unconditional love.
Oh.
And I think that's what is seen in the graph. I mean,
And that's true expression, right?
Yeah.
I think that so often we try so hard to get there by problem solving or taking action, but it's kind of already within us,
Yeah.
right? And you're yoking from something that it's cosmic and infinite, right? Just
Yeah.
like unconditional love is.
Yeah, it felt incredible. It was an unbelievable feeling.
Yeah. And then I think here at the end you're moving around a bunch and you're
Oh,
like,
right,
what
yeah.
just happened?
I think that's exactly right.
Yeah. Okay. And so this is this morning.
Look at that.
Yeah. And like even though you're tired, your alpha's dancing a little bit, your beta's cleared. Yeah.
Cool.
And then your brain figured it out. It's like, oh yeah, this is easier. I forgot. Got a little bit tired here.
Yep.
And set
5 days straight. 40 years of Zen in 5 days. I'm tired.
Yep. It's about 6 weeks of neurofeedback training in 5 days.
Crazy.
It is crazy. And then this is your gamma session. You really popped up there at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel that?
Uh-huh.
Cool.
Yeah, this morning.
Very cool.
Big time.
Yeah. And then this is your PM. You're tired, man. And this is typical to see on Friday. Everyone's tired. And usually in graph comparisons, I compare Monday to Thursday because Thursday's the peak.
There you go. Yeah, definitely tired. But also at the same time, I could call it up. I could
Yeah.
call up like the alpha. I get on
Absolutely.
command. I think there was just lengths of time where I was just tired, but then
Yeah.
I would feel the bombs within like 2 seconds
Exactly.
with my mind. So
Yeah.
yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
Thank
it
you
is.
for this.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And gamma popping up there at the end, right?
Oh yeah. Yep. And actually at the very beginning.
Oh yeah, you're right. The very
Yeah,
beginning.
you kind of had like 3 stages here. Yeah, that's really
I remember
cool.
it. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.